other stakeholders are coming to these sporting events and acting out. And unfortunately, several years ago, there was a parent that came on the field at a soccer match, assaulted the official. The official fell, hit his head, and he died a few years later. Let's not talk about many of the MHSAA officials who are teenagers, just really trying to get a few bucks, still trying to stay related to the game, maybe home from college, and there are people chasing them to their car. Come on, people. Come on. So I posed the question, is it worth you getting a felony? Is it worth it to be able to come to these games, come to these events with so much emotion? And is it really helping your young person as a player and as an athlete? Because as we move beyond these volunteer type settings, high school, AAU, if they're able to make it on a collegiate level, you run the risk of your kid, it's a package deal. Who's going to want to recruit your kid if they know you're liable to show up and act out? I'll repeat that. Who's going to want to recruit your kid, son or daughter, for any sport, knowing that there's a good chance that when you show up, you are going to act out? You get that part? Do you get how your so-called emotion to help or encourage or call out a bad official only hurts your child? And let's talk about this helicopter parent aspect. What are helicopter parents? We talk about that. Helicopter parents are those who hover over the young person, whether it's in sports, whether it's in school. This is another element of that. Hovering over this young person. Give this person a chance to be on their own. It may be your baby for the rest of your years, but in the eyes of the world, that's a young man or a young woman. They need to step out of that. And what are you doing for the coach? How is that helping the coach who's trying to coach through, and you're being extremely emphatic, sharing all these things? So again, legislation was attempted to be introduced at the last legislative session. I've got it on good authority that the powers that be are interested in this type of legislation again and supporting that. So again, I pose a question. What is it worth to you? Is it worth a felony? Is it worth that? You know, I'm going to try to go to some of the comments to get more feedback. I'm not able to kind of open it up like I want to, but I just put that out there. So as we get ready to move on, get into the 20-minute mark, I want to say that Sports Psychology Solutions is looking to be a resource to your organization. Love to be able to come and present to your parent group as we get ready to start this AAU season. Some of you guys are getting ready to go into championship season when the playoffs get going, and you may need a retool, a reboot to be able to come in and talk to some of these parents and other stakeholders about, you know, what we want from the students as well as the parents as far as, you know, having some, you know, good use of how you're going to respond and be out there on the court. You know, showing some civility, some real sportsmanship. And, you know, you can root for your team, root for your player, but to attack a ref verbally or attack anybody else, you're saying that your kid can't play without you being there to scream and shout. Just think about that. And while it may be a great feeling for you to get those feelings out, is it really helping your young person? I don't know any coach who wants to recruit somebody and saying, well, you got to bring the mom along or the dad along or that cousin, and you know how they roll. And nobody wants to be a part of that. And this is black, white, brown, green. It does not matter because we see it on all levels. So with that being said, Lindsay Huddleston with Sports Psychology Solutions. It's been a really good week. Going into next week, these playoffs are going to start. I want to wish every team the best. You know, unfortunately, only one team can win per match, which means that no matter what happens, it gives you a chance to go back and review and kind of prepare to transition to the next. And if you're a parent and you feel that your son or daughter's success is based on one game, I think you really need to reevaluate what their sport experience has been. Because one game can be very memorable, very important, but it shouldn't determine your career and your future. It's a part of it, but it shouldn't determine that. So again, Sports Psychology Solutions is looking to be a resource. Through the Youth Sport Coalition, we will be continuing to tap more legislative champions. We do have some other stakeholder organizations that are interested in supporting future legislation that may make it a felony if you strike an official. I think that's really important to know that times are changing and a lot of this behavior won't be tolerated. But again, one of the pillars of Sports Psychology Solutions as well as the Youth Sport Coalition is not just to put legislation out there without providing education and training opportunities, which is something I want to offer. So if you're a parent and you hear this, if you're player and you hear this, and you think this would be a good message to share to your team as you guys continue to make that role, because what would be a horrible thing is late in the playoffs or late in the game, some parents' behavior will end up determining the outcome. Let me go to the comments really quick, see what we got. For some reason, I'm not able to pull everybody's comments up. Oh, there we go. There's Rena. Rena, I'm going to read what you said. You said a lot of times coaches allow parents on the side of the team and the bench in their child's ear. Oh, yeah, okay, we're going to keep this conversation going based on that. Then when the officials inform the coach, it's a problem. Guidelines should be set from the coach to the parents. So, Rena, what you're talking about is there should be a little disconnect where give the coaches room to coach. And that parent in the side of the ear, I mean, come on, that's an ultimate disrespect to the coach, if you ask me. That's an ultimate disrespect. Rena also said that's no different when you're on your streets. Officials should be protected. I appreciate that. She's getting ready for the States. She's excited about it. She made a good point. I see my guy Romero has joined us. Congratulations, reaching Michigan State grad, doing this thing in the sports media world. He's probably going to be heading down to watch Michigan State and Michigan. You know, back to Rena's comment as we keep going, you're right. You know, let's talk about this disconnect that's needed. You know, coaches are in a tough situation because they want to be able to, you know, win the support of a parent or a guardian or someone who has a great player or a player on that team. But when you come down and you get in the kid's ear, that's total disrespect to that coach. I don't care what you say. And coaches have different personalities like everyone else. Every coach is not going to jump up and have something to say or challenge you or want to check you or something like that. That's not going to be the case. They may not have that kind of personality. They may have too many things going on. Now, if that coach brought you in as an assistant coach, said, I want you, that's one thing. But taking the liberty and coming out and believing, that coach sees that. And I don't know any coach in America who wants you to come down and be in their kid's ear while they're trying to coach. Now, come to practice. The coach invites you to practice, come to practice. Or do like many parents of great athletes I know, they take a step back. This is your coach. I'm going to let him coach you. I'm going to let her coach you. Then I can give you my critique after the fact, if that. I think we're trying to help, but we're causing more harm than good because you're setting your kids up that when they do transition, if they're fortunate to play beyond high school, the expectations are going to be different. And look at what you've created with that. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. I'm checking these comments right now. Yeah, and it rattles the child is what Rena said. Totally agree. A little cranberry juice. So to that point, now the kid is confused. I hear it all the time. I hear players tell me, hey, Coach Huddleston, I don't know who to listen to. The coach will tell me what to do, and then my mom or my dad in the stands telling me something, and I just don't know what to do. So now you've caused a challenge that your kid can't even perform because they know they have to listen to their coach right there, but then they're afraid of being held hostage on the ride home when you're going to go through and tell them they need to do this and that. I got to say it, folks. You got to let coaches coach. I don't care if you say the coach don't know what he's doing. There's a time and a place. And I think a lot of parents, no matter what your socioeconomic background is, they take full advantage of coaches who don't put that wall up. Now when you have a coach that says, listen, don't talk to the kid while I'm coaching them, don't talk to me after the game, and they lay these hardcore rules down, then you get, you know, parents showing up ready to challenge the coach, going to the AD and all these type of things. So what do you want? So I think the best thing you can do is put your faith in the program. If your child is there, let the child be coached. There's always going to be some kind of critique, but I tell you what, you want to get this piece of paper, those felonies that we're talking about, because you are, you know, overly ambitious, overly zealous as it relates to your child and coaching them and trying to help. Only 5 players can play at a time. You being in the back screaming and shouting, just clap for your kid. Just clap for the kids out there. I know that's hard. I know a lot of you are former players, and it makes you think about when you used to play, but your time is over. You're not playing anymore. I got into sports psychology because I couldn't play anymore, but I still want to be involved in the game. And if you want to be that person that just shows up on game time with a whole lot to say, you're not helping the process. My job and the job of many others, including coaches and officials, are to be gatekeepers of this game, to make sure that these young people have a quality sport experience. because that quality sport experience carries over to their life and what happens and how they handle adversity and how they can just really move on. So when they're at work, when they're at their job and they got a presentation that's due or a report due, are you going to be there screaming at their boss saying, you don't know what you're doing? Of course not. You wouldn't even think of it. But you take advantage of what, this wide open space is in youth sports. You're taking advantage of the situation. Are you going to go and, follow your child's boss to their car saying, you need to treat my son or daughter differently? Sounds preposterous, doesn't it? Because it is. You wouldn't dare do that. So why are we doing it now? Why are we doing it in youth sports? Why is it that your level of enthusiasm is so much that you and other parents are prepared to fight? Come on now. Fight at a game for your kids. And whether you know or not, that's modeling behavior. The kids look at that and say, all right, well, if I don't like how it's going, I'm going to fight too. And we wonder why. Now, again, I'm not here to challenge you without offering a solution. I think there's a chance for you really to look into what's happening in your personal life. Like I said, a lot of us show up to the game with stress already. And before we walk into these sporting events with our young people, maybe we'll take a step back and say, you know what? I had a really tough day. I had a really tough week. Excuse me. This is not the place for me to act out based on that. Even though there's nobody at the door that can stop you coming in and say, man, how was your day, before you come in here and get you tripping. Male, female, black or white, I will keep emphasizing this. This has no racial stereotype to it, no socioeconomic stereotype. Rich, poor, is happening all around. That's why I'm talking about it. Do you have anxiety for your child? Do you know that anxiety can be passed on? Anxiety is a form of energy. It can be passed on to your child. So before you come in, can you practice some mindfulness type techniques? Take a few deep breaths. Can you dare have someone who can be the person who's going to check you? If you're going to the game, like, listen, man, if I get to tripping, man, you got to help me out. Whatever it may take. But it can't be, I'm going to come with no filter and just put all this energy out in this game. Are you living vicariously through your athlete? Are you trying to live through your son or daughter? Your time is up. You're not playing anymore. Are you trying to live through them? If so, you need to reassess that, because we only have a small window to play this sport. And no matter how it ended for you, you have to be able to transition to another part of sports. And there is no sport called talk about the coach, talk about the other team, parent, or talk about the official. There's no sport for that. There is none. Is there a feeling of hopelessness? Are you at a point that whatever's going on in your life, you feel hopeless, so you come here as a last resort at the sporting event and act out and say these things? Checking the comments here. I don't know why I can't get all these comments up. Okay, here we go. Rena's really helping me out today. She said, you started about the kids looking at the bench and not being sure what to do. Somebody else left a comment. I apologize if I'm not able to get it. These are the things that we're dealing with right now. These are the things we're dealing with right now. And finally, as we get ready to finish up, and I'm going to get ready to get out of here in the next 30 seconds or so, we're getting ready for new season, new sports. We're getting going into playoffs right now. Soon enough, March Madness will be on us. And it's okay to be an enthusiastic fan, but let's not attack our officials, attack our coaches, and give our young people mixed messages. And Sports Psychology Solutions, along with the Youth Sports Coalition, is going to be here to work, provide resources to these AAU teams, to these parent groups, to coaches, whether it's an online resource in an online form like we have, or meeting in person. So feel free to reach out. So with that, I want to thank you all who stepped in. Rena, thank you so much for sharing your comments. Best of luck to you guys as you keep pushing forward. To everyone else who jumped in, Tiffany, good luck with you guys over at UD. And John Marcus and all the great stuff he's doing. Also, Romero, shout out to you too. Good luck. I think I got a few more comments I wasn't able to pull up, but we're going to keep going. So with that, I want to thank you guys. Lindsay hosting with Sports Psychology Solutions and the Youth Sport Coalition. I'll keep you up to date, and let's have fun.